Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? Hope everyone's having a cool day, a great day. And in this video, we're going to work on the horns. The last video we did the rhythm section, which was the acoustic bass and the keys. And now we are on to one of my favorite parts, the horn section. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind mixing horns, and this coming from a horn player. Do not use things gingerly, use things sparingly unless it really needs it. If the saxes sound okay, there's a lot of times where if it's really recorded well, I don't have to do anything to the the instrument. I won't do it. I'll just roll off the low end and that's it. So let's get started here. So let's look at alto 1. Let's play alto 1. Oops. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead. And, let's go to a spot where he's playing here. And then. Now, if you look up here, I went for an EQ. And all I did was the honk part of the saxophone, I just dipped it a little bit. That's normally what I do. I just maybe just dip just a little bit, not much. Again, let's see if it did anything. See that harshness? That, yeah. I just dipped that a little bit, Again, I'm not doing much. So, let's go to second alto. Now, for me, it sounded like they were recorded. What were they recorded on? U87? It sounded like they were recorded far away. And so, I'm going to try to bring out a little bit of the brilliance of the saxophone and get rid of some of the room noise. So that's the first thing that's what that tells me. So let's go here and find. Again, I just cleaned it up. Let's listen to them both. Always keep your balancing. Always check that. Yeah. So here's the thing. I think what happened here is there was two people. Now, this is the way I would recommend if you do a big band album. I know sometimes budget is a thing, but if you have the resources, 2 persons per part, meaning, lead alto does lead tenor, second alto does second tenor, and then one of them does bari, because, the thing is, it sounds more natural, sounds more live. If you're ever in a position where you have to do everybody, like one player per part, this is the thing I recommend. I recommend you, like say alto 2 here, and say if it's the same player, maybe move them back 2 samples or 3 samples. Because here's the thing, because it's going to sound phasey, because the person plays the way they play, and the wavelengths are really close together. That's one thing I've noticed. Or have them use a different instrument. If it's one person, say I have a trumpet player, have him bring 2 trumpets. 2 different trumpets. At least the sounds will be different. Or if it's a trombone player, have him bring 2 trombones. Sax player, have him bring his pro horn and his secondary backup horn. So let's look at this tenor part. You hear that boxiness in the sound? We don't really need that. So let's get rid of that. Okay. Again, just getting rid of the bad. Okay. Let's go to the. I'm sure you can hear my air conditioner just kicked on, but let's go here and listen to the second out tenor. All right. Again, let's bring out some of the brilliance of that horn. All right, I got a little bit of the mud. Again, I'm not making huge, like 3 dB at the most of it. Do you see how you can hear all the parts really nice and clean? There's a thing that I learned from Kevin Ward. He is a engineer out in the Nashville area. He said you want to mix for the moms. And what that means is pretend everybody's mom is out there. Every saxophone, trumpet, whatever, they're out in the audience. They want to hear their kid's horn. Meaning, if you can hear for the most part, if you can hear every part, you're doing a good job mixing. Now, this is one of my favorite. I love the Barry sax, man. That's one of my favorite instruments. And I like to get the growl of the Barry sax, so I like to accentuate that. Let's find that growl. You hear that? So, yeah. Again, little moves, nothing much. Okay, now let's go to the trumpets. One of the things I've noticed about trumpets is trumpet players are very finicky about their sound. I had a trumpet player one time say, "I don't sound like that." I'm like, "Well, does the mic lie?" So you got to be very careful. I usually take out. Now, a lot of times too, look at if you're in on the actual recording session. One of the things I like here is this guy wrote what mics were being used on each instrument, and if you're familiar with that microphone, you automatically know where its strengths and weaknesses are. Now, the Fathead is a great microphone for trumpets. It's a ribbon microphone, and it's a great microphone for brass, but it does need a little help every now and then. So let's listen to a lead trumpet. Let's get to a part where he's really stepping on the gas, and let's go to the shout chorus right here. Right, yeah, about here. See, it's too for me. So I'm gonna give him a little boost just to put some body more in his sound. Okay, again. Excuse me. I didn't do much. I just 3 dB. I always 3 dB at the most. A little hike there, and then I know he did third trumpet as well, so I'm just gonna move that around. Let's hear them together. Okay, without. Now with. Okay, yeah, I just gave him a little umph. A little more body in the sound. So let's go to trumpet 2 here. Okay. He probably did trumpet 4 as well. That's the way a trumpet's supposed to sound. I mean, for my taste, again, I'm not going to break. If it's not broke, I'm not going to fix it. All right, so okay. So let's go on to the trombones. Now, the trombone is probably one of my favorite instruments because it's just a beautiful instrument. And a lot of times, engineers, when they taught us in engineering school, is that the trombones are kind of like the electric guitars of the band, and yeah, there's some truth and there's some not truth to that. So let's go to the trombone one. Let's listen. Okay. Let's like I said, let's bring out the brilliance in his sound. Again, those cascades kind of need help sometimes. All right, cool. Now, better or worse? See how there's more presence there? Again, it's just a little move. So I know he did third trombone as well, so I'm just going to move that over there. So let's listen. Okay, cool. Again, I'm not doing much. You're not supposed to. It's supposed to sound like a trombone. It's not. It's not supposed to. Again, you get good players, good mics, a good recording. It's gonna work out. So let's listen to trombone 2. All right. So there's a lot of mid. Let's give him a little more brilliance. Go. Cool. Again, do you hear that? Again, you can hear all the voices, right? You can hear. All right, now, bass trombone. Kind of the same thing with the Barry sax. You want to hear that low end growl. You want to hear that low end. You hear that low end, you want to really bring that stuff out. Let's listen to that shout chorus again. You hear that low end? You gotta have that low end and those, especially that Barry. So now they're all routed to a subgroup, and usually what I do. Oh, come on! Sorry, sticky mouse here. Usually what I do is I will take and I will compress a little bit, like for the saxophone. Again, I just compress each section just a little bit towards kissing the compressor. One thing I like about this SSL plugin is because it has automatic gain gain makeup. So if I'm hitting 3, if I'm bringing the gain down by 3, it automatically adds it. And as you can see here, I added a little bit of top end to those. Yeah, just a little bit of top end, just to kind of make them shine a little bit. Let's take it out for the trumpets. Okay, so yeah, I just added a little top end, just a little, and then so these are going to this main horn bus here. And what I like to do on all brass, man, is just give them a little dirt, a little grime, give them some tape, some saturation here. So let's listen with the saturation. Awesome. So one thing about horns is if, and again, you don't have to do this, but one thing I really like about, some of the nowadays plugins is there's some really good ones out there. And if you're in a situation like this where you just recorded in your, your bedroom or in your living room or in your garage or whatever, and back in the old days, they all recorded in one room. They all recorded, and you got that room sound, and you got all those upper harmonics. And that's what kind of made those big band recordings of the 50s and 60s, like the Sinatra stuff, the Dean Martin stuff, even up to, what you call it? I'm just thinking, even Sammy Davis Jr., all that great big band stuff that we all grew up listening to, that was a lot of that stuff was the room that they were in. So now you can simulate that room, and this is a plugin from Universal Audio called Ocean Way Studios, and what it is you can simulate actually the room, and actually Ocean Way simulated the room, the Capitol room. I also have the Capitol Records plugin too, but for this instance, I like using this room. And so what I did is I routed all my horns, every single one of them. It's horns here, and make sure that you pan them as well. Make sure the panning's the same. Okay, make sure you pan your sends. And so I routed them to this plugin here, this room plugin. Now just listen to this room. Like, listen to. I'm just gonna slowly bring it in, and this is routed. The room is routed to our horns. So I like, again, gosh, look at the night and day. Listen to that. Okay, so yeah, and now what I do is I send all the horns to a Verb, and the Verb I like to always use a plate, 1.5, nothing fancy, and what I like to do is I like to we'll do this, I like to just again bring it in, just to give them a little oomph, So again, this is all. I always just like to mix the Verb in. And I like to, again, put the room in there as well. Now, that sounds great by itself, but let's listen to it in context of the mix. I mean, that's that big band sound. I mean, I kind of want a little more of a tail on that reverb, so I'm gonna go a little bit, go more. Now, what you want to do is remember I talked about earlier how using reverb to push the section back or push the horns back, meaning put them back here, further back in the mix. You could do that with volume and with verb. In this case, I was doing it with verb. But, they sound powerful, and, they sound like a big band's supposed to sound. And then again, notice how I'm just constantly making. All right, so with that being said, a lot of people like using brass in a hall, and try different reverbs. Maybe that reverb didn't work for you. A lot of guys use this one, and this is a very affordable reverb that I've used many times on big bands. This is the Reverb from Waves, and it's you go to there's a stock plate here, plate 1, and about that. So let's listen to this. See? So yeah, you can experiment with different reverbs. So I kind of like that one. That's kind of my go-to for a big band. So that's a pretty good mix, and it is a little verby. I mean, then you just move it down. Now, can you hear everything? I can hear the bass. I can hear the guitar, the piano. I can hear the drums. I can hear the snare. I can hear the saxes. I can hear the low. That's how you know your balance is good, your mix is good, and you got everything balanced. That's the most important thing. Now, so that does it for this video with the horns. And in the next video, we will not revisit, excuse me. We will do the Vox and the solo tenor saxophone. And that should be about it. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching this. And if you have any questions, as always, shoot me a comment or a message. And I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next one.